Epictetus once said, "The key is to keep company only with those who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." You might have heard that you are the average of the people you spend the most time with. Therefore, if you surround yourself with good company, be it family, friends, colleagues, or classmates, you are likely to succeed in your endeavors. However, if you keep the company of those who pull you down, they will sink you like an anchor thrown into the deep sea. In this video, I will introduce you to 7 types of people to steer clear of, from a Stoic perspective. After watching, you should gradually distance yourself from these individuals if they are present in your life. To reinforce the importance of distancing yourself, we'll refer to these individuals as anchors throughout the video. This term will embed in your subconscious, reminding you that if you stay close to these people, they will consistently drag you down whenever you attempt to excel. Pay close attention. Among these 7, the 7th anchor is particularly subtle and seems harmless, yet they are among the most obstructive to your progress. Be vigilant when you recognize such individuals in your life and avoid them at all costs. If you enjoy this type of content, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so YouTube can notify you when new videos are posted. Ready? Let's dive in, Emperor. First anchor, the pessimist. Imagine you're excitedly sharing a new idea with a friend. You describe every detail of your plan, your eyes sparkling with enthusiasm, convinced of its flawless potential. But then, the pessimist in the room starts pointing out every possible flaw, saying it's likely to fail, reminding you that no one in your family has done this before, claiming you don't have the funds, it would take too long, or you lack the necessary skills. Suddenly, your brilliant idea doesn't seem so brilliant anymore. Pessimists sap your positive outlook, implant doubts in your mind, and focus only on potential failures, deeply affecting you. Now, how do you deal with a pessimist, especially if they are close to you? One unconventional yet effective method is to ask for their advice rather than just sharing your plans or aspirations. When people are put in an advisory role, they tend to be less critical and can offer more constructive feedback. Another strategy involves reversing roles using a technique called positive confrontation. Instead of soaking up their negativity, challenge them to think of solutions. If they say you can't change careers at this stage, counter with, "Interesting perspective. How do you think someone could successfully make a career change?" This not only deflects negativity but also encourages a more constructive dialogue. Of course, if you can keep your distance and avoid sharing significant details of your life with them, even better, whether they are family or friends. Remember the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Listening doesn't mean absorbing everyone's negativity. It means discerning valuable input from mere noise. When pessimists begin to cloud your view with their shadows of doubt, step back, listen, reflect, and continue to paint your life with colors that speak to you. Don't let anyone turn your vibrant masterpiece into a drab, lifeless landscape. Second anchor, the complainer. We all know that friend, family member, or coworker who seems to find fault in everything. Whether it's the weather, their job, or even the food at a popular restaurant, they never miss a chance to express their dissatisfaction. Now, you might wonder, why should this concern me? Can't I just ignore them? Well, that's easier said than done. Constant exposure to such negativity has a draining effect on your mental well-being, akin to a slowly leaking faucet that drains your reservoir of emotional energy. Stoics held a view of life that involves accepting reality, a principle I've mentioned before on this channel. If I know something is the way it is, and I can't control it, why complain if I can avoid it? Stoics lived a philosophy of focusing on solutions, not problems. Therefore, the behavior of the complainer is completely antagonistic to Stoic philosophy. But if you have someone like this around you, how do you handle it? The first thing to do is to avoid contact with this type of person as much as possible. Don't approach them, don't ask questions, and interact with them as little as possible. If avoiding them isn't feasible, perhaps because they are a family member or coworker, then your second option is to distance yourself mentally during your interactions. Regard their complaints as a passing storm, loud and disturbing, but ultimately temporary and powerless against the immovable mountain of your inner tranquility. Another option is to never be alone with this person, always have other friends or family members around. This way, you aren't fully exposed to their deliberate negativity, you can interact with others and help steer the conversation away when negativity surfaces. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This timeless Stoic wisdom encourages us to diligently protect our mental peace, ensuring that the negativity of chronic complainers doesn't divert us from our Stoic path of resilience and virtue. Third anchor, the victim. Imagine life as a game of chess, where each player has the same pieces and the same objective, to checkmate the opponent's king. You think strategically, make sacrifices, and take risks. However, the victim blames the board, the pieces, or even the opponent for every bad move they make. In their eyes, they are perpetually in checkmate, not because of their choices, but because of an external force acting against them. Their narrative is an endless tale of misfortune, in which they see themselves as powerless protagonists. I can't advance in my job because my boss doesn't like me, or I can't get fit because I have bad genetics. The victim is a person who lacks self-accountability. They blame all their problems on their parents, the government, their boss, or outsiders. They never take responsibility for their mistakes and failures and live in a negative spiral because one thing leads to another in an endless cycle of exaggerated negativity. Indeed, bad things happen to everyone, that's normal. Bad people face adversity, and so do good people. However, a normal person's attitude is to admit they have a problem and seek solutions, but not the victim. They spend hours, days, weeks justifying to everyone how horrible their life is, how only bad things happen to them, how they are unlucky, and if it weren't for these adversities, they could be successful. Be very cautious because these people tend to consume hours of your day simply by recounting their endless problems and adversities, draining your precious energy with issues that will only put you in a terrible mood and potentially lead you into the same trap if you spend too much time with them. So, what's your move when dealing with a victim? It might be tempting to become their savior, offering endless advice and emotional support. But the Stoics would advise against this. They would recommend establishing a firm boundary to protect your own mental state. You might employ a technique known as compassionate detachment, show empathy and kindness, but don't attempt to rescue them from situations they need to navigate themselves. Offer a listening ear, but avoid becoming their perpetual problem solver. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." If you find yourself sucked into the victim's narrative, resist the temptation to become one yourself. Take control of your own chessboard, make your moves, and remember, in the chess game of life, being perpetually in checkmate is often a choice, not a fate. Keep your pieces moving forward, make strategic sacrifices when necessary, and play not for revenge or pity, but for growth and wisdom. Fourth anchor, the drama magnet. Imagine you're navigating through life as if you're a ship sailing through calm waters. Suddenly, you encounter the whirlpool known as the drama magnet. This individual seems to have an endless series of crises, conflicts, or controversies, and like a whirlpool, has a disturbing ability to suck you into their vortex of chaos. Initially, you might be drawn to the drama magnet's energy, mistaking it for passion or excitement. However, you'll soon realize that being in their sphere is like navigating a ship through a storm, exhausting and dangerous. Dealing with drama magnets is tricky because their crises can often feel like they are your own. Their chaos is contagious. You might even find yourself involved in conflicts you had no initial part in. Here's a practical example. You have a friend who frequently has disagreements with others in your social circle. Today he's at odds with Sarah, tomorrow with Tom. He comes to you for advice, but you notice this cycle never ends and suddenly, you too find yourself disagreeing with Sarah or Tom because you tried to intervene. In such cases, you might employ a strategy called reflective listening. Instead of offering advice or taking sides, echo their words back to them. For example, if they say, "I can't believe Sarah said that about me," you could respond with, "So, you feel betrayed by Sarah's words." This technique allows you to offer emotional support without getting involved in the drama. Another approach, which may seem counterintuitive, is to become selectively unavailable. Stoicism reminds us to value our time highly, and sometimes this means being unavailable for other people's crises, especially if they repeat without resolution. Turn off your phone during certain hours, create focus periods where you concentrate exclusively on your work or personal development, and make it clear that during these times you do not want to be disturbed. To paraphrase Seneca, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. This can be particularly helpful when dealing with drama magnets. Instead of anxiously wondering what crisis will occur next, focus on the present moment, over which you have control. Enjoy your life and do not allow it to be disturbed by someone else's drama. Make it a point to navigate your ship calmly, staying clear of the whirlpools that threaten your journey towards personal growth and tranquility. Fifth anchor, the toxic positivist. You know this person, always exuding rainbows, sunshine, and a flood of emojis. They're the ones who tell you to just be happy when you're going through a tough time, dismissing your feelings and experiences with a carefree wave of glittering optimism. Imagine your life as a garden. There are flowers, but there are also weeds and pests. A toxic positivist, however, insists on ignoring anything that isn't a blooming rose. Got aphids on the leaves? Just focus on the flowers, don't let negativity into your garden, they would say. While this may sound uplifting, this approach can make you feel invalidated and disconnected from reality. Yes, if you have problems, it's okay to feel bad sometimes. It's okay to cry, talk about the problem, and vent. The Stoic approach teaches us to face and accept reality head-on. Seeing life as a bed of roses where everything is perfect all the time is to live in a world of illusion, and it's tiresome to be around people who act this way. Suppose you are going through a difficult breakup. You're feeling sad, confused, and seeking some emotional balance. The toxic positivist's advice? There are plenty of fish in the sea, just smile and be happy. This kind of excessive positivity neglects the complexities of human emotion and the realities of life's challenges. Instead, why not explore your feelings? Think about why things went wrong and take lessons for your next relationship to ensure it goes well. Or even if you don't want to be in a relationship in the future, at least acknowledge what went wrong, accept it, and move on. Ignoring problems, sweeping them under the rug, and smiling as if everything is fine is not the best solution, and toxic positivists advocate this absurd thesis. Referencing Stoic thought, Seneca once said that true happiness is understanding our duties towards God and man, and enjoying the present without anxious dependence on the future. Notice the balance, understanding duties, which are not always pleasant, and enjoying the present. A Stoic approach isn't about focusing only on the positive or the negative, it's about embracing the complexity of life with equanimity. So, the next time the toxic positivist throws confetti in your carefully cultivated garden, take a step back. Remember that a garden needs both sun and rain to flourish. Embrace your full emotional spectrum and continue nurturing your garden with the richness and complexity it deserves. Sixth anchor, the manipulator. You know that friend who always gets what they want? Like having you pay for dinner, saying something like, "You know, I've had a tough month and you're so successful, it wouldn't mean much to you, but it would make my day." Over time, you realize that your generosity has been taken advantage of, but confronting them feels awkward because they've framed it as a favor to a friend in need. Dealing with a manipulator can be a tricky business. One method to counter their tactics is what some experts call fogging. This technique involves agreeing with any truth in the manipulator's statements but refusing to be moved by emotional coercion. Manipulators shower you with praise, convince you to go somewhere by mentioning something you like, and make you stay up late at a party knowing you have work the next day, not caring that you will be sleepy all day at work and have a terrible day. If they say, "Let's go to this place because it has that dish you love so much," you might respond with, "Yes, I definitely want to visit there someday, but today I prefer to go to this place." It's complicated dealing with them because they don't give up easily and will do everything to persuade you. If they fail, they might argue with you, or, if there are more people in the group, try to convince the others to win through the majority and leave you with no choice but to accept what they want. Know how to set boundaries at that moment. Be firm. It's okay to give in once or twice, but don't always sacrifice your desires to satisfy them. If necessary, go alone to the place you want, choose your favorite drink, order your preferred dish, and make your own conscious choices instead of being swayed by something you didn't even want in the first place. Inspired by Stoic thought, Epictetus warned us that we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. The manipulator thrives on your predictable reactions. They manipulate your kindness, your guilt, or your desire for approval. By choosing to respond differently, you are taking back control of your narrative. So, if you encounter a manipulator in your life, remember that you hold the pen. Your story is yours to write, and, while the cast may include a variety of characters, the protagonist's journey, your journey, should always be guided by your own values and decisions. Claim your narrative and don't let anyone manipulate the story of your life. Seventh anchor, the time vampire. They are one of the most subtle and dangerous enemies to your success, stealing your time, making you less productive at work, unable to focus on studies, and often forcing you to postpone tasks just to bother you with irrelevant matters. Time vampires demand attention 24/7, assuming you are always available for them. They waste your time with questions that could easily be answered with a quick Google search or a YouTube video, and they also invite you to events that add nothing to your life and only keep you in the rat race. Turning down an invitation is not a rejection of the person, but an affirmation of your own needs and priorities. In the words of Seneca, life, if well lived, is long enough. Stoicism teaches us that time is one of our most precious resources, one that must be wisely allocated. It is the canvas on which we paint the portrait of our lives, and we must be highly selective about who and what deserves a stroke of our brush. In the grand composition of your life, ensure that every note, every instrument, every melody aligns with your greater purpose. Do not let the cacophonous intrusion of a time vampire disrupt your symphony. Keep your focus steadfast on the rock and lead your life with purpose, ensuring that every moment is a well-played note in your harmonious masterpiece. Reflection on ourselves. As we conclude today's exploration of the anchors that may deviate us from our path towards Stoic resilience and wisdom, let's not forget that self-awareness is key. It's easy to recognize these types in others, but the most challenging and enlightening task is to look inward. Are you, perhaps unintentionally, playing one of these roles in someone else's life? Remember, Stoicism is not just about navigating the world, it's also about understanding and improving ourselves. If today's discussion sparked a realization, an epiphany, or even just a bit of introspection, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments section. Write your insights, share your experiences, and let's engage in a dialogue that enriches us all. Until next time, may your choices be aligned with your virtues, your actions reflect your wisdom, and your life be the masterpiece you were destined to create.